Hey everyone and welcome back to Dawn of Nerds. I'm your host Charlie and today we're going to be getting the Grateful 8 and tour guide. There's a brief overview of the missions that you're going to need obviously in the Otis calls. Only 8 survivors can be on the map at once and obviously the missions you guys can see in front of you. Out of Control at 9 PM and Above the Law at 12 PM on day 2. Okay, you need to make sure that you kill all survivors until Jennifer, who's the one that's in the box with the cultists, especially Ronald because we don't like Ronald. So on screen right now, you guys can tell me obviously dealing with Carlito, unlocking the missions with Brad, where obviously we get to case 1, 2, 1, 3 and 1, 4. The main thing we're getting to 1, 4 is because it opens up at least one of the shutters to Entrance Plaza. It's completely personal preference if you decide to carry on and open up both shutters. You don't need to. You only need one of the shutters open, but it does, however, mean that you'll have to travel through Leisure Park, Food Court, Alfresco Plaza. Makes the trip a little bit longer, which is a bit if you've got more survivors with you. So just something to be aware of. I chose to do it the harder way. I know the map. I can kind of get my way around with survivors. It wasn't really an issue, but it's up to you guys. So once you got to that point, you've done case 1, 4. You need to then progress time until 7 PM. The reason being is that's when the cutscene occurs for the zombies at night time, and this also spawns in the convicts and Sophie, who's outside. Now the convicts don't necessarily spawn accurately. There's bugs and all sorts of things going on with them in a minute. We're not quite sure why, but just be aware that they may respawn every time you go into Leisure Park and they may not. Okay, it's completely random. Nobody knows why, but either way, once you've done that, make sure you kill Sophie and obviously head through to the food court. And when you guys find yourself in the food court, at this point you should have had the call for Barricade Pair A and Barricade Pair B and a Mother's Lament, and at this point you need to kill Leah, Bert and Aaron. The reason being is that, as I've mentioned before, you can only have 8 survivors on the map at once, and if these guys are still here, what happens is that stops other survivors from spawning that we are going to need to obviously unlock the trophy for the Grateful 8 and tour guide. I keep going to call it Frank the Pimp. It's not Frank the Pimp anymore. I don't know why I keep doing that. It's a habit. Obviously they censored it or whatever they did, but yeah, it's not called that anymore. Either way, proceed after that to Wonderland Plaza, at which point you should have the call for Out of Control, which is obviously the one with Adam, where you rescue Greg. Really important, obviously, that you do rescue Greg because he enables you to unlock the shortcut that allows you to travel between Wonderland Plaza and Paradise Plaza. So pretty much get up there, click on the thing, kill Adam, buy Adam, Adam's dead, pick up Greg, go to the actual like shortcut area, let him show you the shortcut, travel through it. Once you've travelled through it, at that point, you can kill Greg. You no longer need Greg with you. If you really want to take him back to the safe house, you can. I didn't. He was wasting my time because now I can just straight away advance time. At this point, you need to advance time till 1 PM. Be very, very careful where you are when you advance in time. I was in Colby's Movie Land. If you are in Wonderland Plaza or like that type of area and use the shortcut, it will automatically trigger the cutscene for Jennifer, who is the woman that's in the box, and you will have to deal with the cultists and that. Like, you guys will see in a second what happens. As soon as you fast forward that time, just be aware that you are going to be in that position if you are using the shortcut or if you're in Colby's. Okay, something to be aware of. Make sure you're equipped to deal with the psychopaths and the cult that are actually hanging around. Okay, if you've got the laser sword and you've done 5 and 7 day survivor by following our guide, or you've used the zombie annihilator guide that we had, and you've got the Mega Blaster, then you're all good. I keep calling it Mega Blaster, it's Mega Buster. Hey, it's one of those things. After this, you need to make sure that any time you advance time, that you deal with any cases or survivors, okay, to keep that limit under 8. Okay, the main thing is you cannot, whatever happens, have any other cases other than the ones that we need, which is obviously Out of Control and Above the Law. Okay, there's a Woman in Despair, but that comes a little bit later on with Entrance Plaza. You've got the 3 survivors that are next to like Chris Lips. You can get them to join you, and then obviously kill off Josh and Rich. Keep Barbara with you because obviously she's a female character. You don't need to keep her until the very end because in actual fact, by having her with you, she stops a later mission from activating that you are going to need. But it's worth taking her with you to begin with, just in case, for some strange reason, you don't get the call where, after Mark of the Snipers, you don't get the call for a Woman in Despair. It can happen. The game is a little bit buggy at the minute. It's possible. Okay, like I said, make sure you kill Ronald. We don't like Ronald. Okay, he's just a pain. Get rid of him as quickly as you can if his mission does pop up, and then as soon as you can, get to the actual like Wonderland Plaza area. I would suggest going through the food court and then cutting through Wonderland. The only reason why is because it brings you straight to this point here where you can see Nick and Sally who are hanging from the giant Willamette like bunny rabbit. Make sure to obviously set a like waypoint for your survivors whilst you deal with these two. You don't need Nick, however you will need to make sure that Sally survives because she is one of the great 8. Okay, Nick drops pretty quickly. Clear all the zombies around this area. Okay, make sure that when you are clearing the zombies around this area, usually there's a queen that drops at the time. You can use the queen to obviously clear out the ones that are below Sally, but just be aware when knocking her off how you are going to knock her off. Okay, there's different. I end up using a skateboard at the time just to get her down because I tried throwing a queen, it did nothing. Yeah, there's hunks of meat and stuff. The main thing is to get Sally down safely because she is one of the women that we need for this mission and for this trophy to actually pop. Okay, however you want to clear them, just get that done. At that point, once Sally's down, obviously talk to her, get her to join you. You see, queens don't work unless you. Again, skateboards work. Once she joins you, she'll go straight away to the waypoint that you've already set. You might also find that if you call the women towards you, okay, head towards where Joe is upstairs. Joe will have 4 of the other women that you need, providing you are there on time. The longer you leave it, Joe starts killing off the survivors. So you have to be very, very careful. Like kind of, if you've stepped foot in Wonderland Plaza, the survivor's life starts going down for Janet, Lily, Kelly, and obviously Kay. So just something to be aware of if you're in that kind of situation where you've accidentally gone through Wonderland Plaza before coming to this mission. Make sure that you get here quick enough because otherwise their life starts dropping down. You can't see it, but it does happen. So it's just something to be aware of. At which point you can kill Barbara, bye Barbara, and then go to the like Paradise Plaza, kind of Wonderland Plaza shortcut area. Make a manual save at this point just to be safe because you've got 6 women in your like kind of party that you've got going on, and it's always best to just make sure you've got a save. Last thing you need to do, and it's one of the last couple of missions that we need to get through, is to fast forward the time until 5 p.m. At which point you'll get the call for the Mark of the Sniper, the Antique Lover, and you'll need to go deal with him. You will not get the call for a Woman in Despair until these ones are dealt with. So you will have to go to Entrance Plaza. However, what way you want to go to Entrance Plaza, you can take the shortcut if you've opened up both the shutters, or you are going to have to go through Alfresca, like food court, that type of area. Deal with Jack, deal with Roger. You don't necessarily have to deal with Thomas. He does surrender at this point. It's something that they added in with this game. He does surrender. I kill him anyway because he's just one of the Hall family. So you just kind of get rid of him. I'm so used to him not surrendering in the previous entries that it's just become second nature just to get rid of him. You can do that how you choose. After this, you need to go down to see Floyd in Ned's, like the antique store. Once you're in here, obviously get rid of Floyd because he's at the moment stopping us from having our last 2 survivors spawn. The other one we need to go and do is to go and kill Wayne, who is hiding in the boutique shop at the top of the escalators. Now, again, as soon as these 2 are done, okay, Floyd and Wayne will be out of the way, finished. You then will need to leave the area because you will not get the call whilst you're waiting in this area. So make sure you leave this area. So whether you go to Paradise Plaza if you've got that shutter open, or if you, like me, quickly cut through to Alfresca Plaza and then cut back in. If you've set a waypoint for your survivors, they should stay there. They don't necessarily tend to follow you. You can just set the waypoint, jump in, turn yourself around, go back in. Okay, you see there's the call for a Woman in Despair. Okay, go straight back in, head to Grandma's Kids, or Grandma's Kids. Head there. All your survivors, as soon as you re-enter, will start to follow you. So set another waypoint just to be safe. Let them go back in there. Okay, this time we're going to go get Jolie. So Jolie is in, like I said, Grandma's Kids. Head over there, pick her up. She does that whole hesitation thing where she doesn't want to join you and she starts talking about Rachel and doing all that fancy jazz that she does. Okay, she cries and etc. etc. Let her finish talking. Leave the store. She'll say, no, I'll join you. And then she'll obviously come running out. At which point you need to grab her hand, because what she's trying to do is once she joins you, she'll start running towards the waypoint. But Rachel will not join you if Jolie's not with you. Rachel will just constantly run away. So you need to make sure that where it says hold hands for the prompt, you need to make sure that you're holding her hand and you lead her up to where Rachel is in the shop upstairs. Okay, if you don't grab her hand in the time that it takes for her to get to the waypoint that you've set in whatever shop you've set it, okay, you'll have to go back, get her, and then obviously then travel with her back up there. The holding hands in this game is a little bit glitchy, but it works the majority of the time. She stays with you. It's not necessarily an issue that you kind of have to deal with. Okay, but once you get upstairs, obviously try to avoid any like zombies and stuff like that. You don't want them to end up damaging one of the female survivors that you've got with you at this time. But into the for her shop, and then you'll see Rachel at the back. She's doing the whole crying thing. She's complaining. And all of a sudden she'll see Jolie. Once you let go of her hand, you get the PP opportunity. Take the photo if you want the extra PP. You might not be level 50 at this point. Okay, let them talk. And all of a sudden, challenge complete. Grateful 8 is complete. And obviously at the end of that as well, tour guide will be complete. I hope this helped you guys out. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.